Adam.
Hello.
Hello. It's that time again. Alrighty. Let me put this down. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am swell. You had a good week?
I mean, it was a week.
Uh-oh. All right. Greetings and salutations to you. This is Amesha C. Smith, the BCBA, once again. And today, I was at a school today, and I did what's called an IEP, an individualized education plan. It's a meeting where like you have a group of people who come together, and we decide what's best for a student as education, how we can best assist them with their educational goals and things like that. And usually I will do, my behavioral component, and I'll either go over an FBA that I wrote, a functional behavioral assessment, or I will go over a behavior intervention plan that I wrote, sometimes both, or I will go over data that we've been taking, and I will present it to show if the child is making progress with their goals or not. I'm sure probably a lot of people know what IEPs are. They probably even have kids who have IEPs, or maybe they had IEPs themselves when they were in school. No.
Never me.
you you had an IEP, didn't you?
I did.
And so what was your experience like with that?
I don't remember a lot about it. It was weird though, because when I was a kid, I had many IEP meetings. I think the most I remember was from middle school. And I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember that we would have like meetings in big rooms with multiple people. And they'd talk about my education and stuff. And I remember, for me personally, I had in middle school, I don't know, it must have been some kind of special education program, but they had this class that was, because this was in middle school, right? So, normally you would go 6 periods or whatever, and that's your middle school class. You have six different classes. But I, for some reason, was in a class where it was just one class. And I don't know what the class was for specifically. It was like some sort of behavior thing. But yeah, I was in this class. It was one professor, I think, or one teacher, 2 aides, and then a bunch of students. And there were no periods. It was just you were in that class all day, which was kind of crazy.
Really?
But it was cool because in that class we didn't have to do PE. So that was awesome because I got out of that class and then I had to do PE.
So Adam, let me ask you: was this before or after you stabbed that boy with the pencil?
It was after. There may have been good reason for it.
Yeah. You know what? Do you mind telling what school district you went to? I'm curious. You don't have to say the exact school, but what school?
I went to. I ended up going to actually, I think 2 or 3 school districts, but for the most of my life, it was the school district here.
Oh, in this city
in
that
this
we're.
City, yeah.
Okay, all right.
That way we don't say what school district it was. But yes, it was the school district in this city.
In this city.
Yes.
In this city where we are right now.
Yes.
Like nobody knows what city I'm in here.
In the
where
city
my
of New York.
Yeah, right. Where my office is located.
Right.
So that's interesting. And I'm familiar with that school district.
I actually had another office though.
It could be, but I've been in this office for 8 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 8 years. I have. I've been in the same office for like 8 years.
Oh, I was thinking you have other offices out of state.
Yeah.
You could be in any of those offices.
Yeah, but this office is in California.
Okay.
and actually, the landlady is right next door. She's a dentist, and there's like she's a special, orthodontist, I think. She's an orthodontist. And her husband's an MD. I think he's an oncologist. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me on that. But they're the landlords of this building. I've been here 8 years, but they're real cool. Very cool people. And you can see, like, I've been here a long time because, like, I painted it all these wacky colors. You know.
You mean it wasn't this color when you moved in?
No, actually, it was boring white. And they had diddle stuff in here. Oh. And I had some workmen come in, and they painted it, and they put the carpet in and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's your colors, huh?
Yeah, it's the colors of the company.
Okay.
They're like bright and cheerful BCBA colors, like I used to every once in a while, like this office. Now this office is not a center, like because there are some ABA services like you do in school or you do in home. There's also in clinic. Like I have a very good friend who actually I'll be having a conversation with, who has a very nice office actually, and hers is in clinic. She does in clinic and in home. She's down in Rancho Cucamonga. Very nice office she has there.
In clinic means like people come into the office.
Yes, they come into the office. This is not an in clinic. This is just like an office where I come to like, do reports or just like get away from it all where it's quiet. And sometimes I do work at the schools at the time, but most of the time it is too hectic when I go into classrooms to do any kind of work at all.
I believe it.
It's too hectic.
Yeah,
like and it's like I'd have to be moving my computer around because some kid might be trying to hit me and probably damage my computer or something. But yeah, it's very bright and colorful in here and very cheerful. Now the reason I mention that is because I go into a lot of classrooms, and you can tell a lot about a teacher and their personality based on what their classroom looks like, right? I really can tell a lot about a teacher. Like you can tell by the things they have on the walls, by the colors they have up and the things they have up, even how students' desks are arranged and all kinds of stuff. It's like I love it. Like going into a classroom for the first time because I'll like walk in and if the teacher's teaching, I will just quietly go to the back of the classroom. Now they notice me because, like, teachers are generally very experienced, and they're like, "Hey, there's an adult in this classroom. I don't know." So they kind of keep their eye on me, but they know that I'm most likely there for some valid reason because I'm just in the classroom. So I generally will not interrupt a teacher while they're teaching. I'll wait till there's like a break, or they may approach me, or I'll wait until there's a break or something, and then I'll be like, hey, my name's Amesha Smith and blah, blah, the whole thing. But going into a new classroom, I'll like walk in and I'll like look around. And like classrooms, like I engage all of my senses. Like, there's the smell of the classroom. Now, sometimes classrooms smell like, they like some classrooms are older, some classrooms are newer because some schools are older and some schools are newer. Like, sometimes I can tell, okay, this is an older classroom because it has that kind of like old building smell. And
that's the asbestos.
I hope that they're supposed to have taken all that asbestos. You're so funny. Taking that out of there. But yeah, sometimes I engage all of my senses, like the smell, the sight. Some classrooms like smell really good because teachers have like different deodorizers and stuff in there because like especially if it's like little kids and stuff, it has a certain not so pleasant smell sometimes.
Oh yeah,
but
I've been McDonald's. You go to the play pit, you know what I mean? You go in the room with and nothing against kids, right? Nothing against kids, but you go into the back of the McDonald's in the playroom and it smells like kids.
It smells like kids or something else?
Probably something else, yeah, that they leave behind, but yes.
What? That reminds me. I was at this one school, and there's a sensory room because for some kids, you generally kids on the spectrum, they have sensory rooms where they can go to calm down or they can go to get some sensory input or sensory diet at different schools. And like some schools have like these really elaborate sensory rooms, and some have very simple ones. I went to this one school, and the kids were in the sensory room, but they weren't allowed in this ball pit because I love those ball pits and like sensory rooms where they, what I'm talking about? It's kind of like at those play places where they have the pits and then they have a bunch of those little plastic balls in there. Well, I went into this one day and the the ball pit was off limits that day, and I asked the teacher. I was like, "Oh, the kids usually love that ball pit. How come it's off limits today?" And she looks at me and she's like, "Because one of the kids pooped." And they had to clean it, like the custodian or whatever had to clean it some special way. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's no good. It's
Hey, there's a
like,
reason why they're getting rid of the play places at the McDonald's.
oh my gosh. Oh, I can only imagine what they find in those ones.
Oh,
Excuse me. Oh, that must be so disgusting. I would not want to work at at McDonald's where they had those ball pits. Could you imagine?
oh
Ugh.
yeah. Oh, I went to the. I don't know if you've heard this. They're in in Orlando. They have the world's largest McDonald's. And
Oh,
it's
really?
2 stories, by the way. 2-story building, yes. World's largest McDonald's, Orlando, Florida. And that's not the only thing special about it. They also serve pizza and pasta and Philly cheesesteaks.
Really?
It's awesome. If you ever get a chance to go to Florida, go there.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned Orlando, Florida, because in July, I'm going to be taking a cruise,
Ooh.
and it is leaving out of Orlando.
Oh, you gotta stop there.
Yeah, so where is this magical McDonald's?
I don't know. I just know it's. I know it's by SeaWorld because you can see SeaWorld from the McDonald's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's probably wherever all the attractions are. But if you go there, try the pizza because it's one of only 2 locations in the United States where you can still get the pizza. But anyway, on the second floor is all play place.
Oh, really?
And me and I was there with my sister and my brother-in-law who they live out in Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
right. You
so
did say that.
whenever I come in, we do stuff, and they know I was a big fan of McDonald's. So they're like, hey, you got to check out the world's largest McDonald's. They have pizza there. And I was like, okay. So we go there, and it's nice. They have an aquarium in the bottom floor, and it's very popular. There's lots of people. You go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. We were like, we can't go up there. You can't even sit by the stairs on the bottom floor.
Was it McFunky?
Oh, it was McFunky. It was McFunky. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that is
it was,
nasty.
They needed to get a city official there as soon as possible. It was pretty bad.
Are you serious?
Oh, it was bad.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know how the parents, because there were parents with the kids, and I was like, as a parent, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I was like, I don't know how you get used to it. I don't know, but I was like, I don't know how you deal with that.
Yeah.
And then eat up there. That's the difference. You eat up there.
You're making me laugh, but that reminds me. There's this a school that I go to, and there I hate because I sometimes have to chase kids on this because they don't want to come after recess or whatever, and so I'll have to chase them up on this. I don't know what it's like a playground thing. They have those playground things with a slide and you climb up it and there's well, on this particular one there's a tube you go through. First of all, I never go on that tube because I probably get stuck in there, number one. But there's all kinds of nasty stuff in there. For myself, I saw one day that I think there was some kind of liquid in there. I don't know. I don't care to know what it was, but I was like, yeah. And the kids go in there because they know I'm not going in there, so they sometimes go in there and hide from me. And I'm like, yeah, honey, you can stay in there all day because I'm not going in there. I'm not going in that tube. Yeah, and so one of the I think it was one of the aides one day told me that that there was once again there was some duty in there. So it's like, yeah, that's nasty. Like little
I
kids.
think there's a reason why things like that are going away in general, not just in McDonald's, but I think they're going away everywhere. I think that's probably for the better.
Well, I think in schools, I think those ball pits are a lot of fun because it's like the kids really. That's one of the ones they really enjoy. They enjoy bubbles and they enjoy those ball pits. I think because a school is a sensory room is kind of a little bit different than than a McDonald's because yeah. So I think they should probably keep them I would love, and I'm serious, I would love to find a place where adults can go in those ball pits. I would totally be all up in there. I'd be like, hey, let's go play in the ball pit. You know what? Maybe I could make one at my house.
Yeah.
I could get some.
Here.
Hey, I could I could take a break. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of doing reports. I can just go on my ball. Hey, that is not a bad idea. I might look into that.
And when you get stressed out, you go, oh wait, there's a ball pit in here.
Right? I could just go to my ball pit and be like, ah.
And then you just pee on it. It's your ball pit.
No. You're disgusting. No, I would. That would be really cool though. Like, you were so silly. You go into like the ball pit. Like dude, I could make my own sensory room
You could, yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I so need it. Like, I come into my office sometimes after being at certain schools all day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got slapped today. I got kicked. I got bitten. And I'll just sit at my desk and I'll like drink something, and I'll just be like, oh, okay, I have to unwind. But if I had my own sensory room, I could come in here and I could be like, I'm going in the ball pit for like 20 minutes and just like play in the ball pit. I'm all, wee! Grown woman in the ball pit. I could be like, invite my friends over, like, hey, come to my office and play in the ball pit.
Yes, definitely. I will definitely plan on doing that.
I have a few friends that would be like, I am down. No, that's pretty cool. Though. I might look into some form of that.
You genuinely could. I mean, you got the space to do it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I have all kinds of toys here. I do. I have that whole cabinet over there full of toys, and I do sometimes play with them. Like usually, when I buy toys for the therapist or whoever to use with the kids or whatever, like I'll test it out. If it's a toy that I've never seen before or never used before, I will sit and see how to use it so I can see, okay, this is how I can use this during therapy with my clients. So it's a lot of fun though. I actually enjoy it a lot. Like I said, I love this job. I get to play with toys. I actually get to play with the idea of possibly getting a ball pit. I'm not joking. I might actually look into that.
What's crazy is it's a business expense. It's a business expense.
Yeah.
It's for when you have those in-clinic visits. You know?
I actually don't have kids come here anymore. It's been a long time since I had any of them. And they didn't do therapy here. Usually they would come here because I would have meetings with the parents and they would bring the kids. And usually they would watch TV or something like that.
It would be funny, though, if I came in and there was just a ball pit here.
You know what? One day you might come in and I'll be like, hey, I'm in the ball pit today. Yeah. That is something that crazy that I would do because sometimes I do crazy stuff.
It would be fun.
Yes. I mean, like, you know what? I interact with a lot of BCBAs, and a lot of them are crazy. Well, oh, that was the air conditioning that just kicked on because I was like, what is that? It's the air conditioning, right? Yeah.
No, that's the BCBA thing.
This field is full of crazy people, I'm telling you. Just like usually, because you have to be a certain kind of person to work with kids, like you do, and like you can't be, like too serious or a bunch because we laugh about stuff all the time. Oh, and one day I'm gonna have to tell you about some of the experiences that I've had going into homes. Yeah, like I've had some interesting experiences going into homes because people are like really comfortable. When you're on your own school and home are two different settings, right? And sometimes when you go into homes, people are like, it's their home, so that's where they're most comfortable. So sometimes they're a little too comfortable with you. But when I go into homes, especially, I'm always very professional. I'm like really professional, and I always like am very aware of everything that goes on in homes because, like I told you before, like 99.9% of the time everything is cool, but there's that 0.1% of the time where you have some crazy parent that tries something crazy. I've had that happen like a few times, 2 or 3 times, or they'll say something crazy, but it's not it's not too bad. There's only one thing I can actually think of, and it didn't happen to me. It happened to a coworker of mine at the time. That was actually a very serious and dangerous situation. And the very next day, we dropped that case. We said we're not going back, and we told them why we weren't going back. That was a very serious situation, actually. Yeah. So anyway, I have, as I was telling you before, lots of interesting adventures as a BCBA. So I told you I was going to have an interview. I actually have 2 interviews coming up, and
Top secret.
Yeah, no, top secret. No, it's just I like like I said, conversation with my friends. They're just 2 of my friends who I'm going to be hanging out with, and we're just having conversations. That's all it is. We're just average people. I think average Americans are very interesting.
I agree.
And they have a lot of interesting things to say, you know?
I think that's the problem. Most people think that they don't have something interesting to say, but everybody does have something interesting to say.
They do.
That's why I'm so interested in people, because, like me, for example, I don't care who it is. I don't care what industry you work in. If you work or you're going to school for something or you're interested in something, you're interested and you have something to talk about and you have something to say.
Mhm.
Like, anytime I meet somebody who is in a field that I don't know anything about or have never been about, I'm like, tell me everything about your field.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, even people that are in the field don't know everything about the field, you know, but me especially, it's like, no, tell me everything about what it is that you do, because it's interesting to know about, like, career, like, even, like, retail and stuff, right? Like, I think a lot of people have a disdain for retail, understandably. If you've worked a retail job, not exactly the best job, but it's really interesting learning about how stores are stocked and how they communicate, because a lot of stores, they use the walkies and they have the back room and they're communicating across the store, or, you know, they're, then you have loss prevention and all these other things, and it's like, you know, that's something that if you don't, I would imagine most people have probably worked some form of retail, but if you haven't, that's something that's still really interesting, which me having worked retail, I still think is interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Because I love the idea of, like, it's like, there's so much about businesses, even when you work in that industry, that you don't know everything about. Like, most people who work in an industry will never know the depth of the industry, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There will always be specific people with specific positions in that industry, and that's the one thing they do, but they don't necessarily know about when the trucks come and what the trucks are doing. You know what I mean?
Yes, no, absolutely. There's actually something I like to watch on YouTube, actually. It's hoof trimming, cows hoof trimming. I don't know why. I just find it very interesting, and there's a couple of those that I watch where they're like trimming the hooves of a cow, and it's like I never knew like all the issues that a cow hoof can have and like how they do that, and it's interesting. And it's like they're really popular, so it's like, yeah, it is like knowing what people do on a daily basis it's just like it's kind of interesting, you know. Like I said, I think my job is interesting, and I have like a really thinking about it. I have a lot of like diverse friends who do a lot of different things, and I do like have conversations with them about like, oh wow, like how do you do that, and like how does that work, things like that, because it's just interesting. Human beings are curious. That I can definitely tell you. Kids are curious too.
They all have their own way of like working and stuff too. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's like certain like, I don't know how online you are, but there's like certain communities. So like, for example, if I went and I found like a photography community online or a filmmaking community online, there are certain things that they all understand where it's like there's in-jokes, there's a culture to it, you know what I mean? Like there will always be that too, like outside of the working, it's like you have a group of people who have, it's literally their own culture.
Yeah.
And you know, most people don't think about it that way, but it's true.
It
like,
is.
Everything has a culture to it, everything.
It does. It does. Most definitely it does. Now, thinking about that, absolutely. Like I said, there's a BCBA culture. There's like, you know, all kinds of things like that. So it's interesting, like when you look at the world that way. Did I ever tell you this pig joke?
I don't think so.
I tell it a lot of times to my clients. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this pig joke. I generally like the kids I work with. I will generally tell them this joke to see. It is a joke because I like to tell jokes, but I also tell it to them because I want to gauge if they understand it. Because some of the no, some of the kids I work with don't understand sarcasm and they don't understand jokes, and I will use it to gauge whether they can understand. Okay, anyway, enough explanation. So, all right, so there was this guy, and he invited his friend over to hang out. They were going to hang out, and his friend goes over to his house, and he has a three-legged pig, and his friend looks at that three-legged pig, and he goes, "Hey, why does your pig only have 3 legs?" And his friend looks at him and his eyes light up and he's like, "Wow, let me tell you about this pig. Okay, this pig is spectacular. My son was like 2 weeks ago, my son was drowning. That pig ran, jumped into the pool, grabbed my son, pulled him out, saved his life. And his friend was like, wow, that's phenomenal. And then his friend said, and not only that, just like a month ago, the whole house was on fire. That pig ran through the whole house, squealing its little head off, woke us all up, saved all of our lives. And his friend is like, that is fantastic. I mean, that's a wonderful pig. But it still doesn't explain why he only has 3 legs. And his friend says, well, when you have a pig that spectacular, you don't eat it all at once.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Wow. Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's so mean to that pig. Wow.
We can get into this whole analysis of like how evil that is, but people either like laugh or they groan. You know, and to me, a groan is just as rewarding as a laugh. So yeah. I had a teacher tell me I tell dad jokes. I don't take that as an insult.
Nice, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so thanks for tuning into this second episode. I have a fun adventure planned for tomorrow that will be probably will be our next episode, and actually on Monday also. So thank you for watching me blather on. Thank you. Have a good evening, a day, morning, whatever it is where you are. See ya.